I am so impressed with this lens. Now, this lens cost $168. It is a 40mm f2.0. And what you're seeing it paired with is the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame, and I'm using autofocus. So keep that in mind as we move forward. Any samples that you see is going to be paired with the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K and the Blackmagic Pixis 6K. That's going to say even more about how nice this lens is. This video isn't about either of those bodies, it's about the lens. And as I look back across, I don't know, the last 5 or so videos on the channel, I'm like, damn, that lens is doing really well. And for $168 with beta firmware for autofocus, I can't imagine what this would be like on a Lumix S1 II or even the S9 or something like that. I'm just super impressed with this lens, so let's talk about it. Let's go through the specs real quick. And I have this set up on my Pixis 6K. It's at f4 aperture, 100 ISO because it is extremely bright out here. You can see the sun right there blocking to the side of my face there. So this is what a real application would look like when using this. And it's kind of crazy to put a $168 lens on a Pixis, but you let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How does this look? But as far as the specs, it's 40mm, as we said. It's an f2 to f16. It is a full frame lens. Of course, it's covering a full frame sensor right there. It's a 57-degree view, angle of view, and it's a 15.7 or inch or 40 centimeters minimum focal distance, which isn't too bad. It's 7 aperture blades and 9 elements in 6 groups. And it's autofocus. It's no image stabilization. Of course, you wouldn't expect that on a $168 lens. And then it has a 52mm front filter thread. So, you can put filters on the front of this, even though it's a pancake lens. It weighs 6.2 ounces or 176 grams. So not bad. It's super lightweight in regards to that. Inside of the box, you're going to get the front lens cap. You're going to get the rear lens cap. And the rear lens cap has a USB-C input on it, because you can plug in the lens to the rear cap, plug the rear cap into your computer or whatever, and then you update your firmware that way. And so those are the specs, or at least the major specs that you should know about. Let's look at some more applications of how we would use this lens. So this has an STM step motor and is designed for photography. It's actually not designed for video, but because it's so small and so light and so compact, it's an easy choice when trying to decide something, if you need something small or portable and something that you can use in low light. Now, one of the reasons we know that it's not designed for video, outside of the media saying that it's designed for photography, is the fact that it has a clickable aperture ring. At the f2.0 aperture, or when you use it on a camera and you're putting it in auto mode and then you're switching back between the different aperture settings by using the camera, you don't have to actually deal with that. And so the STM step motor makes it capable of being a video first lens, if you will, and that f2.0 stop helps it be really good for video. You can see that this is tracking me really well on this screen here, and it's doing a good job. And I use this lens actually for the Blackmagic Pixis 6K beta autofocus video that I did. And I also did it on the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame when I was testing the autofocus on that as well. And if you want to see how well this performed, you can go watch that video, because again, this is just Blackmagic's beta version. It's not even, the full release for their autofocus. And so with that being said, this performs really well, and it does track you. As you can see, it finds me on the screen. So, and I guess this is kind of 2 birds at 1 stone, because we're also testing the Blackmagic Pixis autofocus as well, as you can see there. But overall, this does really well, and it's really good lens. And now I'm going to go in there and do some basketball with the Pixis, just to see how well it does to track from a distance and up close and things like that, and we'll see how it goes there. And so that way we'll have a pretty good understanding of how well this performs. I'm not even using a known commodity when it comes to autofocus with this being in beta mode. This is, of course, probably the worst case scenario for a lens like this, especially for a test, but this is doing pretty well. I got this barrier here, and right now I have it on continuous autofocus, but again, we're using the Pixis Beta. It's going to adjust. So now we have continuous autofocus, and you can see how fast that is catching on the rail there, right back out to them. So that's really fast. And so if it's moving that fast on the Pixis, imagine this with, full release Pixis software in a year or so, or just like the Nikon Z or the um, L mount, like a S12 or S9 or something like that. And you can see how fast it's connecting and following just by center focus there, right there. You can see how quick that is. So it works really well, I think. And so you can use this to track subjects really well. So my final thoughts on this lens. Who should buy this? I think this is good for beginners, people that are starting their kit. I also think this is good for people that already have a lot of different gear and are considering versatility and trying to figure out, what they need in their kit for whatever activities they're using, like whether it's travel or something on the go or just having a smaller setup. I think it's good for those situations. And it's because of the value proposition. This is only $168. That means that you're getting an f2, right? Really fast aperture. It's very small. And it's an all metal body. And even though it has this clickable aperture, I don't think it's a problem because you can put it in auto mode and then you can allow the camera body and the software on the camera to control the aperture. And so it's not going to be an issue if you want to use it for video. Again, being fair to this lens, this was designed for photography, as they say in all of their media, but it performs phenomenally well as a video lens. And at $168 with the ability to get it on Nikon Z mount, to get it on the Leica L mount, and also to get it on the Sony E mount, it goes across multiple different bodies. So you can get 3 different variations of this and keep just on hand in case you need this versatility. It's super small, fits in the palm of your hand, and this bottom cap with the USB-C firmware and the little pins at the bottom so you can do your updates on this allows this to be extremely small. And so with it being this small, it's just a really good option. And again, it has a filter thread so you can put filters on it, and you can use it whatever set you want. And again, I use this for video. It performed really well on a camera system that has beta autofocus firmware. And this should have been a nightmare test for this lens, but it performed really well. Is there some focus breathing? There was, but again, I don't know if that's the bodies that I was using or if it's this lens, but at $168, I think it performs really well above what I paid for this lens. And so I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna hold it some super crazy high standard and start punching in and punching holes in this, because at $168, that's a pay in 4 of $42. So at the end of the day, like in 8 weeks or whatever, you can have this paid off just by not going to McDonald's once a week. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you consider this lens? Obviously it's not a professional lens, but as an everyday kit, as a YouTube content creation and things like that, I think this lens performs really well. If you enjoyed today's content, consider subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, join the Cosey Coalition below. I'll put links in the description to this. This will be affiliate links. Thank you if you decide to purchase using those links. I'll get a kickback. That helps the channel, helps me out, continue to make videos like this. But as always, stay cozy in that crazy world. See you in the next video.